Ah, Stardew. The hours I've whittled away in this game's world. The hours I've spent tending to my plants, taking care of friendships, and looking after my home that could have really been spending doing the same in reality. Those Junimos, they're always back, and those out for blood. With all these hours in the game that I adore, this game I have 3 copies of, I've never achieved true 100% perfection. I've never reached the summit. With 1.6 update dropping to Xbox and a batch of new achievements dropping, including 500G of extra gamer score, it felt like the right time to finally see if I could climb to the summit and reach those dizzying heights by finishing a massive list of tasks the game asks of you. And what are those tasks, you might be wondering? For 100%, you must do all of the following. 1. Ship 1 of every item, including forageables, produce, monster loot, and others. 2. Eradicate all monster tasks at the Adventurer Guild. 3. Craft every single crafting recipe available in the game. 4. Cook every cooking recipe available in the game. 5. Find every single star drop. 6. Catch every single fish. 7. Reach level 10 in every skill. 8. Find every walnut on Ginger Island. 9. Max out friendship with all the characters. So 10 hearts for the non-romanceable characters and 8 for the romanceables. 10. Build the 4 fast travel obelisks available from the wizard's book. Finally, 11. Build the golden clock, which costs a whopping 10 million gold. Now, for the benefit of this video not being 172 hours long, I won't be mentioning every time I get a new cooking or crafting recipe, friendship maxed out, or every walnut. I will be aiming to give a villager a gift every time their birthday comes around, as giving gifts on each of the villagers' birthdays gives a huge increase to their friendship points earned, and I definitely, absolutely won't forget to give the villagers birthday gifts, not at all. Anyway, without further ado, this is my attempt to reach the summit and finally achieve the perfectionist achievement in Stardew Valley. We start up and debate with chat what we should name our farm. Oh dear. Start as you mean to go on, I suppose. And we start the game to find our character working for a giant company in desperate need of change. We receive a letter from our grandpa, giving us the deed to toast up our farm upon his death. And hoping the name is just a coincidence, we make our way to Stardew Valley to start anew. Now this isn't my first rodeo, so after meeting Lewis, the mayor of Stardew, and Robin, our local carpenter, we get straight to work gathering seeds from the shop, planting plenty of cost-efficient seeds, and clearing a little bit of space on the farm for our needs. We get in an early night and head straight to the beach the next day to meet Willie for a free fishing rod. We start the first few days doing nothing but fishing, as when you hit level 5 and 10 in any skill, you can get very useful perks. The one we're after for hitting level 5 in fishing is the Fisher perk. It will give us a 25% boost to the sale of all the fish we sell, so we spend the days stockpiling the fish until we hit level 5. We proceed to sell off all the fish we've earned until level 5 to give us a nice payday. Lewis pulls us to the side and shows us the dilapidated community centre, which we see mysterious creatures known as the Junimos inhabiting. We find a board with a language on it we don't understand, but we receive a letter from the wizard informing us he can help us translate it. And when we do, we get access to bundles of the community centre, which we will need to do completely to restore it to its former glory. We'll be dropping things off as we go, however we want to get back to the farm and get started on the requirements. We plant plenty of parsnips as we're going to aim to fill up the community centre as quickly as we can, and part of that is 5 quality crops. After this, we're going to save until the first festival. For now though, we start to make rapid progress through the mines that have just unlocked for us, travelling down at a fast pace. The Egg Festival rolls around, and we use our newfound wealth to gather as many strawberry seeds as we can. We've already got far enough down the mines to make plenty of sprinklers to automate a lot of our money making for us, which will free up the daily time to be doing other things we need to do. Whilst we're at the festival, we slap the competition. Once back from the festival, and wearing a fancy new hat, we plant those seeds. After a few days, I'm being my normal accident-prone self. No, that's not. Why did I have my axe equipped? We recognise we still yearn for the mines, and we get ourselves back there and dig our way down, floor after floor, until we hit the 80th, as this gives us access to gold. And with that, we've already finished our first room in the community centre, giving us access to the minecarts. Having fast travel to all sides of the map this early on is exceptional progress, even if my social skills are lacking for the time I've spent underground with nobody to talk to but my chat and the slimes. Continuing further down, we've already made it to the first star drop we require for completion. We hit floor 100 of the mines and that gives us our first star drop. Whilst we're down here, we complete the mines, getting to floor 120 for good measure, gathering the skull key and celebrating accordingly with people watching along. After reloading from a bizarre crash and having to repeat a day, you
really need to do. Oh. My game froze! No! Brother, why? It was 9 PM! Dude! Oh, why did you crash?
We head back to the finished mines with a decent weapon and we start farming the dust sprites and the ice floors as soon as we can. This will give us very early access to the wonderful burglar's ring, which basically gives us access to a second roll of the drop table from anything we kill from this point forward. Getting this done nice and early will help encourage some of the really frustrating drops to show and save us plenty of time in the future. With that, that's the first monster target from the Adventurers Guild hit. We also find the last dwarf scroll as well, which we drop off to the museum. This is a good time to mention the museum. One of the star drops we'll need is for completing Gunther's museum, which is another task we'll be doing along as we go, and another thing I won't be mentioning very much, as for the most part we just throw anything we find in there as we go. All sorts of bit of junk, from broken pottery to old dolls to a spoon. I mean, we'll take what we can get, I guess. People of Stardew Valley are clearly not used to the technology of cutlery. Either way, finding all the dwarf scrolls gives us a dwarf language book so we can make a new friend at the top of the mines. Far more importantly though, we get another new hat. Screw the museum, I'm looking stylish. We'll continue on to Robin's to get a barn built, but let's be fair, we just wanted to show Robin our new style. Sleeping through the night, we see a plane full of goodies dropping across the valley. I have not seen this before, so I presume this is just a 1.6 thing, but it's very exciting nonetheless. We wake up, and we see our new building ready on the farm. Once the barn is built, we head down to Marnie and she's not there. Why is she not there? Marnie, where are you? Even with hours and hours in Stardew, I always forget the routines of these damn villagers, despite knowing them arguably better than I know my own friends now. We spend some time starting to hit off some of the seasonal only stuff, including our first legendary fish, the crimson fish. The first of the 5 that I'll need to catch for completion. We also attempt to catch an octopus, which ends up being a several day ordeal. Everyone in chat trying different methods to summon said
I've done
octopus.
everything I sort of really do with this month. Like a lucky haikus. Issa Octopus, get on the end of my rod, or I will.
With everything for the season done though, and a bizarre wave of leaves later, we decided to start hitting some Adventure Guild tasks while there's nothing really left for us to do right now. We managed to finish number 2, the Cave Instincts, and number 3, the Duggies. We proceed to head into autumn. We get a ton planted before immediately running over to catch the unique fish of this season, the angler, which is the second of the 5 fish we'll need. And we'll catch the rest of the fish we need for the community centre. Finish the skeleton task for the guild, as well as finishing off the vault by just throwing money at the problem, which becomes a common occurrence. With that finished, the Junimos come out to repair the bus for us, giving us access to the desert. We immediately head over, grab the last fish we need from the desert, and get back to finish the third part of the community centre as well, the fish tank. This will give us access to panning spots, which we will barely use, but either way, halfway down. After nearly getting mauled to death, we head over to the Stardew Valley Fair, where we proceed to ace the competitions, and spend our tokens wisely, and manage to get our second star drop of the playthrough. This is where we finally strike gold though. We find a prismatic shard out of nowhere, which gives us access to a brilliant sword. That'll make those guild goals far easier. We load our recently made coop with bunnies and start getting rabbit's feet for friendship points, as all villagers absolutely love them, apart from Penny. She can just deal with it though, we'll just throw emeralds at her instead. A gem-seeking pain in my ass. We finish another monster goal with the bats, and the day after we find the rare berry we've been growing throughout fall has finished. We throw one of those in the box for the collection, we take the second one to the statue of Master Cannoli in the Secret Forest, giving us a star drop free. We awake the next day to Gunther telling us we've done a wonderful job doing all of his damn work for him, and our reward for all that hard work is access to a feces-filled sewerway. I feel like he may be taking the piss, ironically. Either way though, we descend into the sewers, and what do we see?
Beautiful Cobus, wondrous Cobus, never seen a thing as beautiful as you.
We grab the third legendary fish while we're down here, arguably the easiest of the 5 to catch, and we continue the momentum we've gathered so far. We've been on a crazy roll. I worry this video may be hard to keep up on as I feel like I'm skipping over many valuable points, But honestly, we've been flying through so fast that nothing can stop us now.
I've got a lot to change if I wanted to really properly go back and enjoy it. I'll probably do... Oh, I just fucking weren't paying attention and got crit for 41, huh? Well, that was...
Pretending that never happened, we head to the Spirit's Eve Festival to grab another missing aggro, as I need to gather all 8 to get a recipe I need, and then head into winter. We head down to capture Glacier Fish on the way, as that makes a 4 out of 5 legendary fish before we trek through the cold to gather the last forageable I need. I meet a shadowy figure, who scurries off. After chasing him down and yoinking a magnifying glass he's apparently holding, we can now get access to secret notes, which will give us loads of different artifacts and helpful advice, which is nice, if it wasn't for the wiki doing a lot of the heavy lifting during this playthrough. Bounding through the snow, we head to the centre to drop off the last forageables for the kitchen, as well as dropping off the missing animal products and fishing the pantry, and giving us access to the greenhouse, which is very useful, as we've been growing ancient fruit seeds since early on, to then grind them into more seeds. They're the most valuable AF crop we can grow, so we'll start loading those into the greenhouse to set up for the late game. That sets us up for the bulletin board left to do. We find another secret hat. Looking like I'm dressed as a pimp in a low-budget 80s movie, we head over to the secret woods, where one of the notes told us to go there with some maple syrup. We meet a creepy bear, who very clearly distracts me, as I then proceed to go wait outside of Caroline's bedroom with the wrong damn birthday present. We could really do with a win after being thrown off our game, so we demolished the competition at the ice fishing contest, before taking more L's from chat to how messy my farm was.
I mean, barely functional, it's functioning perfectly. That's entirely fair. Did I do the forest today? I did. Go that way.
Okay.
I think it's one of the things I've regretted about this playthrough, in honesty. I didn't spend enough time being proud of my farm, I just wanted it to be efficient, but at least my chat were there to keep me humble. Either way, we get all skills to level 10, which was one of our big goals, and learn about the Mastery Cave. We quickly get the XP we need for our first Mastery boon, and we take the Farming boon, giving us access to the Iridium Scythe. This thing saves so much time with gathering crops, and getting extra hay for all the animals. Speaking of animals, we get Robin to build us a stable, and get our horse, Senor Klops, making moving around Stardew much quicker. We find a dino egg too, and with that we finish everything I've hoped to accomplish in the first year. With year 2 starting, we set some goals. Firstly, we want to start making sure we ship one of every shippable from the crop section. We also want to make sure we keep enough crops, forageables and fish from each season to make every cooking and crafting recipe. With those side goals in mind, we start forward. With the first rainy day of the season, we head over the lake to catch our 5th and final legendary fish, suitably called the Legend, and continue working towards gathering the last couple items for the community centre. We haven't thought about romance yet. We need to change that. I can't continue throwing my whole weight into only gathering things right. I think it's time I think of love. And being egged on by my chat, there was only one person for me.
OMG, I can't decide on which of you should be the guy to take me on a mustache ride that'll redefine my life.
Harvey. Perfect. With romance in mind, we will continue to throw gifts at Harvey whenever we see him. But for now, it's time we finish the bulletin board and get the game into phase 2. With the community centre finished, we take some time to celebrate. We started talking about our favourite pizzas.
I tell you what, I know you're not going to like it, but using a pizza base, but with Marmite instead of like tomato sauce. That's going to get me some hate, but honestly, legit, if you like Marmite, don't knock it till you try it. It's good.
Hey, I still stand by it. Anyway, Willie sends us a message after the centre is complete, saying he's working on something in his house and to meet him there. We find him working on a ship that needs hardwood, iridium and batteries. No problem, I thought. How wrong I was. We headed over to the broken down Jojo Mart to give the rabbit's foot to the van driver, permanently increasing our luck. Find some sunglasses, test out the Iridium Scythe to a great effect, and get enough experience to get the second mastery upgrade. We grab the mining boon and head on out. We head to the flower festival to pick up the crafting recipe we were missing from Pierre's store here, and more importantly, we start making those moves on Harvey, who accepts our invitation to dance. Now, remember a minute back that I said I shouldn't have any problems with the stuff Willie needed? Yeah, so those batteries. We didn't get a damn stormy day for the damn 2 weeks. Damn patiently waiting for those damn batteries day after day. Until finally, after many days of voodoo prayers and rain dances, it finally stormed. We promptly take our parts to Willy, and him and Robin promptly fix the boat. Before we head across though, we quickly knock out another quest, bumping into the wizard who asks us to recover some ink from his ex-wife. This could have been prevented if he got himself a decent divorce solicitor, but I suppose we can play bailiff for him. We head down to the sewers, grab the fish in the area Krober's opened for us and the talisman from the back, head back to where the wizard was, open the pathway, gave the guard his void mail and grabbed the fish we needed here too. We grab the ink and return it, giving us access to the wizard books, so now we can work on the obelisks we need for perfection. With the last bit of tidying on the farm, and realising you can knock chests about now? What?
You can knock chests about now?
We decide it's time to take our first trip to Ginger Island. We immediately beeline to the north, killing our last slime we need to the guild quest, and getting to the top of the volcano to open it up for future use. Heading back south, we stop by the dig site, open it up to save an explorer who wants us to gather bones for him. No bother at all. We spend the next few days just gathering as many of the golden walnuts as possible, opening up as many parts of the island as possible, and getting lost far too often. Before gathering walnuts though, we made sure to stop by the raccoon family that had moved in south of the farm, and fulfilled his requests. Apparently he couldn't get it on with his raccoon wife without me basically acting as his personal fluffer, making sure his highness has everything he needs to set the move, including stinky fish and bags full of dried mushrooms. We decide not to ick someone's yum, and promptly head back to the island for more tidying up. We meet an old lady named Bridie on the beach, who sends her on a fetch quest, Joy. Cue the running around as I go to multiple different villagers who continue to swap different pieces of junk to me, so I can finish her request and get another stack of walnuts. With those gathered, we decide now's as good a time as any to finish getting all the fish we need by catching the last 3 fish we were missing from the island. With another completionist goal ticked off the list and a 4th star drop sent in the post from Willy, we felt the time was right to declare our intentions to the village doctor. This clearly must have sent some good karma my way as I then get 3 thunderstorms in a row, making my lack of thunderstorms earlier seem very correlated with Harvey. I should have romanced him sooner. We head down to the Mastery Cave for our 3rd Mastery upgrade, choosing the Combat Mastery to get access to trinkets. We head back to the island for even more tidy up. 130 walnuts is a lot after all. We finished the Greedy Frogs quest near my farm for growing specific crops on my island for a huge stack of walnuts. Fish up the best hat in the game, of course, and luck out big star with the frog skeleton. We head back to the valley to get our 2nd house upgrade, and open the golden coconuts we found lying around. With the last of the fossils needed for the museum tent done, we now have enough walnuts to finally open the mysterious door on the west side of the island. This is where we meet Chi. This guy has some really useful rewards, including the town key which we're going to prioritise for easier gift giving. He also has a pile of recipes which we're going to need to do ASAP for 100% of the crafting recipes. We check his completion board and we find we're only sitting at 29%. We've got a long way to go. Although I do feel this number is quite deceptive, considering we are sitting on loads of resources ready for the crafting and cooking, and waiting for the ideal to start those really, so we continue on without worrying too much. We buy the star drop from Krobus' shop, giving us star drop number 5 out of 7. We also finish Chi's first quest to get the key to the town. This always leads into interesting interactions with gifts. Nothing's creepier than a grown-ass farm with a frog hat climbing into bed with you and shoving random presents in your face first thing in the morning. I mean, at least, I haven't made any friends that way. Maybe I should start. We head back into the caves, we finish the crab requirement for the Adventurers Guild, and get extremely lucky with a free Galaxy Soul drop. Leo then decides to move to the valley. Definitely makes our life easier for gifting, and we head back too for the Mastery upgrade 4 out of 5, which we take for foraging. We find our first trinket, and get far too excited.
Yellow frog egg. Ah! I got a little frog!
And take everything we needed to the broken down Jojo Mart. With that, it becomes a cinema, which we can take people to as a bonus friendship activity each week. We don't end up using it much, but we do pop an achievement for using it for the first time, so there's a bonus. We tidy up the basement in the house before making plans to have a deep skull cavern run to gather a lot of the rare resources we will need in the late game. We managed to make it down past 400, get a HP up from Chi, and go back to base loaded with a bag full of gems, iridium, and other useful plunder. I think Harvey was impressed by my sack full of shinies I brought back, as he set up a cute ass date and professed his love for me. And as the sun set, we finally got Mastery 5 and the Fishing Proficiency Mastery, completing the Cave of Mastery 2. Now we're really beginning to hit the late game. We get to work on setting up what's going to be the bulk of our income, using all the ancient fruit seeds we've been processing as we've been playing, to set up our island to be a haven of ancient fruits to throw into kegs to make the millions we are going to need. We quickly head into the tunnel near the farm to start Chi's Mastery quest, and after finishing a few odd requests he had for us, such as smuggling vegetables into the mayor's fridge, he hides a club card for us at the log part of our house, allowing us to get 25% off of Mountain Dew at Tesco's. I mean, access to the casino in the back of the store in the desert. We wake up to a rainy day and decide to take a visit to the strange mariner on the beach, who sells us a pendant that will allow us to ask for Harvey's hand in marriage. After he accepts the request after my extremely unromantic ask for his hand in marriage, for what it's worth, I basically slammed into his place of work and went, "Oi, you, marriage, now!" It worked though, and 3 days later, we are newlyweds. Waking up the next day to him in a grumpy mood with me for some reason, maybe something to do with that lackadaisical request for his hand in marriage, we set back out to the island to finish setting up the money farm. We ship the last item we need for the shipment requirements for perfection. We also scratch off the void creatures for the guild checklist. We inadvertently drink a pile of our potions before going to the desert and using our club cord to head into the casino. After being far too lazy to gamble, we just throw 100,000 at the problem and get the rare crow we are missing. We head into the skull caverns while we're here to finish off the mummy's target for the guild. We find a beautiful shirt while we're killing some of the monsters, and we finish up the serpents while we're here too. We take all the geodes we've gathered up to this point to Clint. With luck on our side once more, we get the last mineral, and we finish loading those into the museum. Harvey asked us if we want to adopt. I accept, and now we're expecting a child. No idea when, as Stardew Valley's child mail service seems pretty lax with how long it took. So we decide now's a good time to build our first obelisk, so I have an easy way out of here for whenever the parent life is too stressful. Despite my clear avoidance issues, Harvey ends up being happy to the point where he gives me my 6th star drop I need, increasing my stamina and getting me one step closer to completion. Realising how close the museum is to being done, we trade off a lot of the Omni Geodes we gathered for some chests, and with the last one opening being the last artifact we need, we deliver it to Gunther, finishing the museum for good before taking the final star drop we need as a reward. With that hit towards perfection, we receive a letter in the mail from a mysterious entity, offering us perfection waivers, allowing us to spend a huge stack of cash to forego doing a single % of the perfection requirements. Now, you may be thinking how I've been throwing my money at all these problems. It sounds like that means nothing. I'd be all game for this, but no. I've not come this far to throw away what little dignity I have left, and my pride for the sake of a single 1%. You want to sit right with me not doing this right. 100% legit. So we leave him to it in the cave and start tidying up the walnuts once more. We give a banana to the shrine that needed one, and with the walnuts finished, we head back to Stardew to enjoy a romantic evening with the mister. He cooks us a lovely meal. And while we are sleeping, they decide to post our baby to us, which I affectionately named Sprog. One accident later, we finalise the money-making sheds with row after row of kegs, ready for the real grind at the end. However, we are now making so much money due to it that we are literally breaking the in-game money counter. We head back to the desert for the final few times, doing several days of hunting in the skull caverns, and we finally find a couple of Pepper Rex floors, ticking those off the list for the guild. We build a couple more teleport obelisks, finishing number 2 and 3, and head back to the island once more to finish the guild quest after slaying the final magma sprite, and we also gather our final walnut while we're here. That ticks 2 more things off the full completion requirements. We're getting close now. The island's looking totally full with ancient fruits, the cakes are loaded to the brim. We have now just got the last drag to go. We make the final obelisk to tick that off too, and we start the waiting game. What I haven't mentioned during the last 2 in-game months though, is we've been waiting for Gus to take a holiday. I love Gus. He works hard, he takes care of everyone, but I needed one more cooking recipe, and that recipe was only ever available if Gus went to the island to man the bar there. He just flat out refused to take a day off. I would wake up, beeline his bar, and just see him sitting there, staring at his TV, then walking his ass to the bar to man it, or to get supplies from Pierre. I was losing my mind waiting for him to go. But finally, months later, I went in to see him standing, which is odd seeing as he's usually on his ass watching TV, and as he left and started heading south towards the beach, I knew I was in luck. I headed to the island and grabbed the final recipe from him. I went back home, and with all the supplies I'd gathered, I created every single recipe. There we go. We go have a dance, finish off the raccoon's quest line, and head back to the farm to craft everything we need. Thousands of gathered resources used up at once to create one of everything the game had to offer. We just ticked off 2 huge stepping stones. We grabbed the final book from the bookseller just for the Xbox achievement. Then all we had left to do was befriend a dozen people and make enough money to buy the bloody golden clock. This was truly the only part of the run I didn't enjoy. However much I'd not been very attentive or caring towards my farm, I still had a good time seeing just how efficient I could be clearing this challenge, but having the final 2 hours on my farm be very repetitive was a real shame. The 10 million requirement is horrible, especially in Stardew that doesn't really have any other necessary need for that level of money. But for what it's worth, we cracked on. We spent the last few weeks waking up, checking the birthdays, giving 2 gifts a week to each village that I had max friendship with, and every Sunday picking every ancient fruit, rebarreling the wine when it was finished. There's not a ton to say about this part, but making 1.3 million on average a week meant I didn't have to do it much. And as every villager ticked off the edge to max friendship, I was feeling an overwhelming sense of relief, knowing the grind was finally coming to an end. We finally give our final gift to Krobus, matching their friendship, and head to the wizard with a huge pile of money to create the golden clock. And with that, the final requirements were done. I went over to the island, and sure enough, perfection. 100%. It was strange. Knowing that I'd finally finished, I'd finally got to stand on the summit. Does that deserve it? I may not have got any of the Jojo waivers or the Walnut waivers, but there was a part of me feeling like I neglected my farm or not growing my family any further. It just felt like I was missing something. But I know what I started this farm for. It was for the summit. Nothing else really mattered here, and I tried to hold that to heart as I went to sleep with 100% on my play file. Waking up, I was hit with the knowledge that Toaster Bar Farm had eternal legacy, so we started walking north. Thinking back to the friends we'd made along the way, and I couldn't help feel a pang of nostalgia as I was scaling the summit. This was a game I'd played for years, a game that I'd sunk countless hours into and spent so much time talking about and enjoying, knowing that when I hit that peak, my journey ends. I legitimately found myself feeling melancholic once I reached the peak and saw Harvey standing there waiting for me. But with that, we got the achievement. Perfectionist. With 66 hours on the file and spending some time just relaxing and admiring the view, I knew it was time I needed a new journey. I'd made so many beautiful memories on the valley, but it was time to start somewhere new. Oh, thank you very much everyone for watching. I had an absolute blast making this one. I haven't had a blast with dealing with constant issues with DaVinci Resolve crashing issues, and however much DaVinci Resolve has really not enjoyed me making a video with this much raw footage. I've still had an absolute blast messing around with clips and streaming this. This is the first one I've fully streamed, and being able to share a big journey like this with everyone and then get to make something so much fun at the end of it, it's been great. It's been really great. I also want to thank Concerned Ape for a game experience that will stay with me forever. And thanks to everyone that actually stopped by the Twitch streams and kept me sane. I know that farming sims aren't exactly the highest octane entertainment, so having people that were willing to sit there and share the time with me and make me laugh whilst I was trying to do the boring bits made it so much better. Please be sure to like, subscribe, do all the bollocks that YouTube likes, and again, do drop us a follow on Twitch if you'd like to join in the experience and the banter, and with that, hopefully I'll see you again.